Egypt, land of the pharaohs, yet ruled by the magnificent River Nile. Follow its majestic course, steeped in history, and discover the treasure. Not buried in a tomb, but below the waters of Lake Nasser. A byproduct of the Aswan Dam, and now an entity in its own right, it is the home of the legendary Nile perch, the largest freshwater fish in the world, accessible to the rod and line angler.
Oh yeah, that's a better fish. Check it in.
Just as beautiful the condition of these fish. One day this fish, allowed to survive in this sort of conservation atmosphere, will be grown to 300 pounds. 300 pounds. There you go. Brilliant. And the little ones are as good. History tells us that over 4,000 years ago, due to a minor domestic dispute, the goddess Isis decreed that all Nile perch and tigerfish must be returned immediately after capture. Why this action should help her find the missing piece of her husband's anatomy, I do not know, but it led to the world's first fish conservation scheme. Today, our motives may be somewhat different, but the desire to protect and preserve our fish is stronger than ever. And what an opportunity we have here in Egypt, working with people dedicated to pioneering a fantastically exciting sport, while constantly working to conserve these magnificent creatures. We are indeed privileged to give you a glimpse of a fishing adventure as it unfolds before us. Tim Bailey, Kenya-born, Kenya-bred, is the man solely responsible for pioneering sport fishing on Lake Nasser. He has been involved in safari and expedition for his entire life and has no plans to change his unique and personally gratifying lifestyle. Dr. Mike Ladle is one of the UK's most successful lure fishermen. A doctor of marine zoology, he mixes his academic understanding with a lifelong obsession for angling. His job is his hobby, his hobby, his job. Steve Pitts is an all-round angler with a specific interest in lure and plug fishing in both salt and fresh water. He would like to grovellingly thank his wife for letting him come next time. Dave Watson has been an angler for 40 years. He is a director of a private carp water in the south of France, but spends much of his time seeking more of the exotic angling opportunities available in countries that give the chance to rediscover the idealism of our earlier years. Bob Kimber is now a veteran of Nasser angling safaris, with top perch weights of 57 pounds from the boat and 52 pounds from the shore. He also has several 40s to his credit. He has fought fish all over the world, from marcia in the Ganges to bonefish in the Bahamas. A confirmed Nasser Nile perch addict. And finally, there's me, Liam Dale. I have been lucky enough to experience fish ranging from blue shark and conger off the British coast to large beluga in Kazakhstan. Once again, I've drawn the short straw and am therefore forced to accept responsibility as your guide through this hot and terribly exotic adventure. Welcome to Lake Nasser. You find our party camped securely in a secluded bay, about halfway between Aswan and the temples of Abu Simbel. No sign at all of mankind's usual debris. The only sounds, the call of bullfrogs and the wail of jackals ghosting over the sun-stormed, almost lunar landscape. In a world shrunk by the rapid development of communication and a greater ease of travel, the adventure starts just 24 hours earlier at Gatwick Airport, rendezvous point for the party and a warm welcome from Golden Joy, the package tour holiday company to Egypt, responsible on this occasion for the booking of our flight tickets. Also on hand to ease the obvious difficulties of transporting 200 kilograms of film equipment by aeroplane was Buck Hunt of Hunt Travel, a specialist in angling holidays and an extremely well-organised key figure in the planning of such an operation.
So you might be trying to pinch him every day for the film crew, but if you get the chance to fish on...
Gatwick departure staff handled with ease the variety of containers from Daiwa tackle boxes that protect the film equipment, KIS rod boxes that are without doubt the best way to transport rods, and the bags for our private belongings. Because of the facilities available in the camp and the virtual guarantee of exceptional weather by British standards, personal baggage was light and limited. Excalibur Airlines helped this project by agreeing to carry the film equipment at no charge, thus meriting some praise for their contribution. This notwithstanding, I have flown a variety of airlines to various destinations, ranging from British Airways to Aeroflot. With total sincerity, I can report that they are the best airline I have ever flown with. The condition of the plane was superb, the 5.5-hour flight extremely comfortable. The captain and first lieutenant catered for all the requests of a pushy director, and I watched the cabin crew work non-stop, offering superb facilities for all the passengers. On their feet for at least 6 hours, and the smiles never waned. Well done, Excalibur. We flew a route that took us straight to Turin, and then along the west coast of Italy, past Grecian coastline and the island of Crete. After 4 hours at 33,000 feet, we got our first sight of the African coastline and descended to follow the course of the Nile to Luxor Airport, access point to Thebes, Valley of the Kings, Tomb of Tutankhamun, and most important of all, Nasser Nile Perch. The wonderfully warm but not over-hot Egyptian sun hits you as you leave the aeroplane. It takes but a short time to get your visas and change currency. Eastern countries tend to get buried in bureaucracy, and Egypt is no exception. Accessing film equipment is difficult, tiring, and boring. However, in Egypt, the process is not corrupt. Groups of anglers and tourists can rest easy, though. The welcome is enthusiastic and hassle-free. We were eventually on our way south, comfortable in the air-conditioned Toyota, following the course of the Nile on the road to Aswan. Through small townships, past busy markets, amazed by the sights and astonished by the driving. Open-topped lorries passed us by, carrying a dozen or more haughty-looking camels at a time, the drivers unaware of people haphazardly hanging from any hand grip. We arrived late at night at the luxurious Basmar Hotel. With a planned departure at 4 a.m, we were unable to do full justice to the facilities available. Inviting as the swimming pool looked, we tucked into a superb buffet and were soon lulled to sleep by the gentle tones and hypnotic rhythms of the Egyptian musicians playing in the courtyard below our rooms. a.m. With the mullah's call to prayer echoing round the streets of Aswan, we boarded our Toyota and set off on a 2-hour desert drive to our rendezvous point with the Nubian guides, who would assist us with the fishing and run the camps. We watched the sun rise over the distant hills and marvelled at the vastness of the barren land before us. The only poignant reminder of human presence, a missile site on a nearby hill. A further half-hour past the lakeside palace of President Sadat, assassinated before the completion of his last residence. It now stands abandoned and a little forlorn. An immediate reminder that the lake is not open to all and sundry. It is perhaps a sad thought that this rich asset must be protected by missiles, as the lake supplies hydroelectric power and water for most of Egypt, and the high dam at Aswan is a vulnerable target. Pushing all thoughts of human volatility from our minds, we turned our backs on this last bastion and set out in the boats onto the vastness of Lake Nasser, the heart of Nile Perch country. Nasser is an enormous water, as long as England and up to 20 miles wide. It was formed in the 60s under the guidance of Gamal Abdel Nasser, and at the time was the largest man-made lake in the world. 2,400 square miles, that's over 1 million acres. It is remote and thinly populated by fishermen, but in some areas there is a little agriculture. The local residents are Bedouin camel and sheep herdsmen who are occasionally to be seen grazing the flocks on the shoreline. The wildlife is all you would expect to see, and lots that you don't. Over 100 different species of birds have been recorded, ranging from pelicans, white herons and egrets, to kites. In most areas, there are crocodiles, desert foxes, jackals, hyenas, and my personal favourites, the monitor lizards. But what of the fish? The lake is reputed to hold Nile perch of over 300 pounds in weight. 1 week before arriving, I watched camcorder footage of a 220-pound plus fish. I knew the big boys really were here. It was merely a case of finding them and then trying to catch them. Other prevalent species are tigerfish, which run 12 to 15 pounds, and tilapia, to about 10 or 12 pounds. The Nile perch have thrived well in this protected environment. Although some small fish are still caught in the Nile above Aswan, there are no more perch of any size to speak of below the lake. The lake also offers the opportunity to fish for huge vundu catfish, but we were here specifically for the Nile perch. Well, maybe some tigerfish as well, and perhaps some big tilapia. And of course, if a vundu catfish should just happen to come along. There's a lot of barbel, several species. Maybe we... Back to the Nile perch. Records from Lake Nasser show a fish weighing 178 kilograms. Lake Turkana in Kenya has a record of 121 kilos. And there is a story from Lake Victoria in Kenya of a net-caught perch weighing an incredible 234 kilos. That's 514 pounds. Research shows that Nile perch have a better chance of reaching record sizes in lakes as opposed to river systems, and there is every indication that very large fish lie within rod reach at Lake Nasser. Most anglers who visit here for the first time will be looking for the biggest freshwater fish of their lives. Even with a 273-pound beluga sturgeon to my credit, I was looking for a new personal best fish, let alone the fact that it was freshwater. Tigerfish can rightly claim to be one of the most spectacular freshwater fish in the world. Not only is it a beautiful fish, but its ferocious elegance will get any angler's adrenaline going. There are few fish of this stamp with such a fierce fighting energy. Their distant relatives are South American piranha. Just one look at their incredible teeth leaves you in no doubt that they are savage predators. Within 10 minutes of being on the water, we were fishing. Lures lashed on with any old knots. Multipliers, fixed spools, Dave's 40-year-old tattler, wrestling with Glenn the cameraman to get my rod out of his hand, carp rods, sea rods, uptiders, tackles scattered to all corners of the boats as we eagerly crashed rapalas out in every direction. The Nubian guide smiled knowingly as a variety of fresh and saltwater techniques were tried. We trolled for 2 hours, and despite our lack of local experience, we were all into fish of 20 and 30-pound class on our first session. Without doubt, this was down to the growing list of hotspots being recorded by Tim. The boats divided the party by mutual unspoken agreement. Mike and Steve, who were keen to work their shore skills, were joined by Bob, while Dave, Tim and I decided to get stuck into the trolling. We all caught fish. We three all lost big fish. Dave and I uprated our main lines to reduce the risk of big fish losses and settled down into one of the most pleasurable sessions of angling we have ever experienced, as Ali, our driver, coaxed the 30-foot steel dory close to the hazardous rocky shoreline. From gentle sloping beaches, past towering cliffs and overhanging outcrops, we were like two children out to play, as heavyweight fighting fish up to 34 pounds constantly crashed out of the water, shaking their massive heads in order to lose the lures. During that session, we learned to appreciate the weight of the fish we were hunting, and also to respect them. As the sun settled over the distant ranges, we trolled without a word being spoken. There was no need. Each of us to his own thoughts, analysing our errors, determined to do better the next day, overawed by the lake and the sheer joy of just being there. The next morning, after a leisurely lie-in, we were up and ready to go at 6 a.m. While we'd slept, the camp and surrounding area had been extremely active. The tracks of animals crisscrossed the marks of human feet, and we were able to identify jackals who had strolled arrogantly around the sleeping oblivious anglers. Desert scorpions had visited and made symmetrical scuttle marks, all heading down the beach to the water. There were the large prints of a single dog-like creature, which Tim identified as a probable wolf. Kick started into action with an excellent and surprisingly English breakfast prepared by the camp's chief guide Shaban. The party set off in 2 boats and set to work with an enthusiasm one could bottle and market. It had become apparent very early in the previous day's sessions that one of the best aspects of the fishing was the total unpredictability of the angling. Not whether we would catch or not, but whether the next fish on the hook would be £3, £30 or 300. As the morning sessions developed, and large fish gave us the chance to test our arms and the tackle, we all started to convert the decisive and heart-stopping bites and runs into successful catches, and the pace of fish coming over the side of the boats hotted up.
Yes, sun in.
Hello, beautiful.
Lovely start to the day, Tim.
Yeah.
Where are we? 8:30 in the morning.
Yep.
How much are you finding the colours of the lure important, Tim? Are you building any patterns yet on
Well,
any particular colours?
I tend to try and duplicate the prey. There's no doubt about it that colours do make some sort of a difference. Depends what mood the fish are in, really, and we don't know what colour patterns fish see.
No.
But when you look at the super shad raps, they're nice deep. They look the shape of a small tilapia, you know. It's a big question, that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I think it's something that one could even almost write a chapter in a book about.
Yeah. You cleared 38, Dave. Yes. New PB Nile Perch, 38, allowing for the sack. Excellent. Good start today, Ramadan.
Ah.
All right.
Yeah.
Best freshwater fish too. Nice one.
What did we say the girth was?
They belt a lot more than the carp do, don't they, Dave?
Yep. Go on.
Go on now. Go on now. See you later.
Both Mike and Steve's extensive experience with lures paid off, with new personal bests at freshwater.
Heart stopper, yeah? Well, we got this one out with a mirror. I'll tell you what, yeah, a mirror. We've got about half a dozen rocks.
You on?
Yeah. I got a hit. I'm off again.
As the main boat angler, I was lucky in securing the services of not only Tim, but also Ramadan, the best guide for fishing on Lake Nasser. His control over the boat made it possible for Dave, Tim and I to troll our Rapala shadraps and magnums within feet of the large, dark layers so evident in the clear water as we passed by.
They're not frightened by it, Tim, are they? They are not intimidated by it at all. It's tough in the scissors, Tim, isn't it?
It is. It's one of the most you don't get that hook damage. Now it's
Here we go. Yeah. Right. Away. There we go. And just as beautiful. Look at the condition of these fish. Come on. One day, this fish, allowed to survive in this sort of conservation atmosphere, will be grown to 300 pounds. 300 pounds. There you go. Brilliant. And the little ones are as good. Bye bye. Whoosh! Straight down, no missing. Cigarette in his hand. Head well down.
Do you want to come round the boat?
Not a lot of argument on this one. There we go. Yes! Woo! Oh, Ramadan, he knows. Ramadan, the magic man of fish. Ooh. Oh, now you want to.
You're on your leader now.
Yeah. Not coming up. Danger's mine.
Perfect, oh yeah, that's a better fish.
Go.
Yeah.
Come Come and meet me. Come and meet me. Ramadan, don't tickle me.
We've got to
Okay.
be quite careful gaffing him so don't hurt harm.
Here we go.
I'm going to try.
You want to go under the chin?
If I can, not pierce him.
Okay.
You've got a £100 mono on, haven't you?
There's £100 mono for the the trace.
Do you want a glove, Tim? Are you alright?
Shall I bring her up now, Tim?
Steady him. I think he's quite tired now.
Quite happy now, isn't he? Beautiful. It is beautiful. They look splendid in this light, don't they? Absolutely splendid.
What a pretty fish.
Okay, my friend.
Right, rod slack, line slack.
Yeah.
Towards me, Tim.
There you are. We've got a bit without gaffing properly.
Lovely. Absolutely splendid.
Hello, baby.
All right, Dave.
Nice one.
Pliers?
You just can't stand being 4 pounds behind.
No, not that we're ever competitive. or
Not at all,
anything,
no,
you
not
know.
even for 5 minutes.
No, no.
Look at these lures again. Look at the damage on that lure.
Oh, look, it's
Smashed it
completely
out.
smashed.
Smash it out just the same as the
Yeah.
silver one.
There's quite a lot of series of crushing plates almost, haven't they? All the back, it's in the little ones, further back there.
Yeah.
See, look.
Look at the rakers from here.
See right down inside
my
the
God,
throat.
Look at those.
Extraordinary. It's a
The
gulper,
big,
isn't
the
it,
big
Tim?
crushing plates down at the back here.
Yeah. Real gulper.
Because these are just for trapping, aren't they? Up the
Yeah.
front here.
Is that kaput now?
Well,
You
I
could
mean,
rebind it or what?
Rapala make very strong lures in that there's that
That'll be
wire
all right.
comes right back. You'll never lose
Yeah.
a fish.
If you wire it. It
But
might
that,
not
you
run
need to
through,
wire
though.
that now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Ramadan.
So you can then see. 122.
3, 2.
122.
122. Hold on,
Well, you're going to get a surprise when you weigh this.
I am, aren't I?
Oh yeah.
Soon, with the tripod.
Look at here.
It's going to be 45.
That's not bad. That's not a bad weight.
In you go. That's it. Whack me in the face.
I was trying to give you the head, not
What's
the
that
tail.
old saying about a slap across the face of a wet fish?
Yes. I don't know quite what it means.
Something.
I have no objection when a fish offends me of that size, though.
Fish on this side is actually better than getting your what's the name in a blender.
Yeah.
Oh yes, this
Here we go.
This is 50, I reckon.
Don't Dave. Yes!
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It isn't. Oh.
It's 62.
62.
Yes. Really?
62 pounds. Yes.
Slime.
Slimy. 62 pounds. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Ramadan. Okay. Ready, Dave?
Right, now just lift it straight up now and then put your hand around the body.
That's it. Fish goes back. It is. Again one day. I've got to get the air out of there.
By lunchtime, with a hot African sun beating down, we were aching. Not in the arms, but in the face, from grinning so much at each other.
We've got 32.
32.
Yep, 32. Okay.
Good. Right here.
Towards you, right? You alright with the depth of field? Yeah? Here we go. And this is knife from England with sharpener.
For England, good.
Very good for people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Which one you like?
This.
My gift to you.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good in water.
Nice knife.
Good. Thank you for big fish. Okay.
Thank you.
Team Daiwa.
Thank you.
Proper man.
While Dave and I rested in camp, the ever-active, ever-angling Steve and Mike set off with Tim to try and catch one of the 50-pounders we could see sunbathing on a shelf close in.
About 20 more yards, Tim.
Tim had fished this spot a few times now, and the fish appeared wary, probably only of the splash of the lure. But for those who were watching the scene from above, it was exciting to have a full view of both sides of an angling story.
I don't want to make too much movement.
Let's try that minnow then, Tim.
Tim and Steve cast closer and closer to the bathing leviathans. Sometimes they followed, sometimes they flinched. Most of the time, they took no notice. So the anglers stalked closer. While this fascinating duel took place, Dave and I were aroused by local fishermen who had come to tell me that they had found a dead crocodile, about 12 feet long. Did it smell? I asked, in order to establish how ancient this corpse might be. Not at all, they said, and took us to see the creature in question. It did smell. It had died from natural causes and was upside down in the water. Despite these factors, nothing detracted from the majesty of this shy and elusive creature. They slip quietly away in the presence of humans.
Really wanted to see one live, the closest I've got. But even seeing a dead one makes me realise what an awesome creature it would be to come across.
The hospitality of the native fishermen meant that an invitation to return to their house for tea and a smoke was automatic. We accepted with delight and sought refuge from the sun and the aromatic legacy of the crocodile. The tea was delicious, and so was the tobacco. The traditional belly dancer music had none of the westernized structure that we are used to, and slightly disturbed the English ear. We left our newfound friends with regret. The smiling, friendly faces and calls for us to return soon were genuine. A truthful, simple but not stupid people, at ease with their uncomplicated environment. On the way back, we met Steve and Tim, still trying it on with the big boys.
Right, what do you reckon it is? About 10 or 12 pounds?
What about 10, yeah? Just into double figures, isn't it,
I
really?
think these fish at about this size, they just come into full maturity. They're
Yeah.
just starting, to become... They're rather like a little teenager at the moment, 12, 14.
Just reach puberty then, yeah?
Well, not as big as Steve had hoped for,
So, yeah,
but the session proved that fish to 100 pounds do lie within lure casting reach of the shore. And why achieve absolutely every dream on just one trip? Steve will be back. Dave and I kidnapped a lunchless Tim and slid out for our next trolling session. Being a conscientious host, he always encouraged us to take the inside lines closest to the rocks, and played the outside rod in deeper water himself with great effect.
Okay, hand her in, Tim, yeah? Don't need a gaff, do we?
You've got hooks all over it.
Okay, I'll watch it. You ready to come and see us?
3.
Beautiful. Excellent. Nicely cooperative one, straight to the bottom. £40. And the gloving is no problem at all, just like catfish, no problem at all. The only reason I'm wearing a glove is to give me some protection from the lures, because there's a lot of hooks flying around there. Yes!
That's the way to get back.
All right, nice one. Well, what do you think of meeting the English? Is it good? Okay, yeah, fine. Do you like being caught? No, okay. What happens when you meet a monitor lizard? I see. Oh, exactly, right, okay. Down a fraction, that's very good, stay there. Got him. One more.
It's making some horrible noises.
Yeah, he's sort of doing like the brokery.
I think he's imminent.
Fine.
Yeah. Does he swim around full of water, or is it? I'm not a fish. I've got you through your football.
The session took us through another spectacular sunset and into the moonlit magic of nighttime Nasser. We could have fished all night, but the distant sound of singing Nubians beckoned us to a Nile perch barbecue, and wedging ourselves into the warm sand, we dined on this splendid feast and dozed off to the traditional sounds presented so splendidly by our guides and hosts.
Ramadan wants to know where to go. Over.
Yeah, I think it's due to the amount of time we've got left today. Working out the left before. Over. We've got left over.
Repeating, did you say Sabor? Over.
Yes, which is probably a little bit north of you now. From what I can figure out where you are. Over.
Okay, we'll kick up and be on our way. Out. How you doing, Mr. Sunburn? What you reckon?
This is a heavier fish.
Yeah?
I think this might be better than the 44. Quite a lot. See how slow it's moving. None of that mad dash.
So what's the weight if it tries to go down? All right? You clutch happy?
Bingo. Button off a little bit.
Nice fish, Tim? Yeah. Yes, yeah. Yeah. It's a clean hit. Hopefully he's done well. It's clean. Very pretty. Very pretty. Let's wait. I can glove that, Tim. How do we do? Yes! All right. Nice one, Dave. 26. No, sorry. 23 and a half. Yeah. 23 and a half kilo. It's good. 50-pound fish.
Yes, yes. That'll do.
Good. Thanks, Tim. Stringing's a good system for recovery, isn't it?
I was delighted that my angling partner also broke the magic 50-pound barrier. What a team! A last-minute production thought had meant the booking of some ICOM VHF radios in order for us to keep contact between the boats. Nasser is so huge, and with only a week to play, I am in favour of all fish-finding support and communications. So placid are the fish after capture that Dave strolled up and down the margins with his biggie until it was fully recovered. A unique moment in his 40-year passion for angling. Stringing the fish enabled them to recover totally before being launched back into the depths, and was an ideal time for anglers to record the moment of their successful capture. Time ticks by at an extraordinary rate at Nasser, and yet the lake is a frozen chronological capsule. It is a freshwater angler's nirvana. If in England, it would be front page of all angling magazines every month, as the catch rate is unique. It rains once every 6 years. A cloudless sunrise heralds the start of each new day, and we found ourselves getting up earlier and earlier to squeeze every drop out of this untampered element. Camps were left as we had found them, just the odd fish carcass waiting for the hunting jackals. We planned, we packed, we came, we saw, we played the game, we caught, we felt the flame, we left the place the same. Expedition Lake Nasser. Pioneered, recorded and filmed. There are now new places to go, but as for Tim Bailey and the legendary Nile perch of Egypt, we will be back.
That's the